title of that video, Cailtin Clark flirts with a triple-double. Well, the regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Cailtin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Cailtin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what did the kids say? Belt to ass. Oh, yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha.
If this doesn't strike fear in y'all heart, I don't know what will. All right? All right, Cailtin Clark, triple-double getter, man. Love it what she was doing out there.
Cailtin Clark just dropped a triple-double, humiliated the Chicago Sky by nearly doubling their score, and then casually broke Angel Reese's ego like a cheap pair of sunglasses. One tactical foul later, and Angel was out here throwing tantrums like someone stole her Lunchable. Did Clark break the game and Reese's patience in one play? Oh, you bet. This wasn't a game, it was a public service announcement. Don't poke the Clark. Stick around, because this drama is hotter than a WNBA scoreboard meltdown.
Yeah, Cailtin and Aaliyah, can you kind of go through the little issue there, what happened when you got the flagrant, Aaliyah, you got a technical? What kind of happened there?
If you got the tech?
I know. Wait, what?
I got the tech?
Oh,
first of
all,
I know.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line or rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to.
Listen, the Indiana Fever just completely decimated the Chicago Sky. Cailtin Clark owned Angel Reese for the second time in a row. She ruined Angel Reese's Barbie night, and she ruined Angel Reese's season opening night. I'm talking about Cailtin Clark came out looking like an MVP/Defensive Player of the Year candidate. A lot of people called me crazy, but it is what it is. I'm pushing that envelope this season.
Oh, the irony. For all the trash talk, dramatics, and head-flinging hair flips, it turns out that when you poke the bear, and by bear, we mean Cailtin Clark with a basketball in her hand and the score to settle, you better come prepared with more than TikTok dances and vague Twitter shade. Because this time, Angel Reese got not just silenced, but absolutely smothered in her own drama, as Cailtin Clark and the Indiana Fever casually mopped the hardwood with the Chicago Sky like they were cleaning up spilled Gatorade. Final score? 93-58. And no, that's not a typo. That's a full-blown basketball crime scene.
Bro, Cailtin Clark and the Indiana Fever just beat the brakes off of Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky for the season opener.
I mean, they beat them by 30-plus points.
And not to mention, Cailtin Clark got her third career triple-double. First game of the 2025 WNBA season, and she gets a triple-double. The Indiana Fever are already looking better than last season.
Let's rewind to what really happened. The Indiana Fever showed up like they had been sipping straight espresso shots for a week, while the Sky looked like they'd accidentally walked into the wrong gym. And right at the heart of the spectacle, Cailtin, I don't need your observation, Clark, who apparently decided she was done being the polite Midwest prodigy and was ready to collect souls. One crossover, one assist, one three-pointer at a time.
Wow, I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought, this one's going to be a battle. This was going to be a battle, the Sky looked really good in preseason and all. And I mean, for the likes of Kia Nurse, it's really easy to shoot in preseason, I guess, for Kia Nurse. Normally they call Kia Nurse the greatest May shooter of all time. This was a beatdown.
Triple-double? Oh yes, because why just score when you can do everything and still have time to trigger your loudest critic into an emotional meltdown? And now we arrive at the part where Angel Reese, who has been playing the villain in Cailtin Clark's origin story like she's auditioning for a low-budget reality show called Basketball But Make It Petty, decided she was going to confront Cailtin.
By the way, Cailtin Clark, a triple-double, 20 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds.
The Indiana Fever absolutely demolished the Chicago Sky. Final score 93-58. This was, Yolanda, yes. Horrible game, flat out embarrassing. Yes, for the Chicago Sky, absolutely. This was terrible. This was terrible. Not terrible. This was a terrible game for the Chicago Sky. Horrible basketball that we witnessed. But while we saw terrible basketball on one side, we saw a very, very good team that's not even at their ceiling yet in the Indiana Fever.
Yes, that's right. Instead of, say, playing defense, or maybe not being down by, 35 points, she opted for the high road of tantrums and finger-pointing, a tactical foul by Clark, the kind of smart, gritty play that actual athletes understand, sent Angel spiraling so far off course you could practically hear her agent whispering, "Just smile and wave, Angel, smile and wave." But no, Angel chose violence, or at least what she thought was a statement. Spoiler, the only statement anyone heard was, "Wow, Cailtin Clark lives rent-free in this girl's head." Now let's talk about the so-called confrontation. Picture it. Angel Reese, full of righteous indignation, stomping over like someone just insulted her playlist, trying to channel vintage 90s NBA beef, except without the credentials, the stats, or the wins. Meanwhile, Cailtin Clark barely blinked. Honestly, she looked more annoyed that Angel interrupted her jog back to the bench.
App finna be uglier than Asia Banks. Now, this is the play right here that everybody is talking about. Watch Cailtin Clark. She want all the smoke. Watch this. Watch this. One more time.
Wide
One more
open.
time.
You knew that Cailtin Clark was going to come in and take that foul.
Cailtin Clark ain't playing.
Wide
Look at
open.
this.
You knew that Cailtin Clark
Look,
was going to come in and take that foul.
Oh my God, that's just
Wide open.
And let's be honest here. If you're going to try and throw shade, maybe don't do it when you're trailing by an amount that's usually reserved for early season college blowouts. This wasn't just a loss. It was a televised implosion. And in the middle of it, Cailtin Clark still managed to look like the only adult in the building, while Angel Reese was out there performing emotional slam poetry in real time. What really lit the match was Caitlin's tactical foul. See, Clark's basketball IQ is so high it probably qualifies for Mensa. She saw an opening, made the kind of foul that screams, "I actually understand strategy," and suddenly the earth tilted off its axis. At least if you were Angel Reese, whose grasp on composure is apparently more slippery than a greased pig at a county fair. Angel didn't just react, she overreacted like someone had just spoiled the ending of her favorite show. The drama, the gesturing, the stomping. If theatrics were a stat, she would have been the league MVP right then and there. It's almost impressive how many emotions she managed to cycle through in 30 seconds. Anger, confusion, denial, mild theatrical rage. It was basically a WNBA remake of a soap opera no one asked for.
Final against the Chicago Sky, and it was the worst nightmare that the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese could have possibly imagined. Angel Reese, boy, she's ate up with class, is she not? Wow. Standard operating procedure foul. ESPN, your anti-Cailtin Clark agenda on full display. Going on and on about how that needs to be a flagrant foul. You didn't say a word about a flagrant foul prior to going to break.
Meanwhile, Cailtin Clark, she just kept balling, triple-double style. While Angel was busy throwing her proverbial toys out of the pram, Clark was busy throwing dimes, hitting threes, and making defenders look like background extras in her highlight reel. By the time the scoreboard hit that glorious 93-58 mark, the only thing Angel Reese had successfully accomplished was ensuring her own humiliation got replayed in 4K on every sports reel for the next 48 hours. And oh, the irony. The same Angel Reese who spent months building her brand off of being the so-called Cailtin Clark antidote is now the headline in a story called "The Girl Who Couldn't Handle It." Turns out, swagger with no scoreboard just looks like bad acting. Let's talk stats. Because unlike facial expressions and cryptic tweets, those actually matter. Cailtin Clark put up a triple-double. That means she dominated in 3 statistical categories, which is the basketball version of baking a 3-tier wedding cake while simultaneously doing taxes and winning a chess match. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, she had, well, not that. What she had was a front row seat to one of the most humiliating beatdowns her team has suffered this season. And instead of trying to turn the tide, she tried to start a subplot. Big mistake.
Around that 15-foot area. Clark
Connects! The first logo bomb of the season from Cailtin Clark.
The Fever didn't just beat the Sky, they dissected them. This was a wire-to-wire masterclass in how to dismantle a team. Offense, defense, intensity was all there. And leading the charge was Clark, who, for all the criticism, keeps showing up, keeps delivering, and keeps making her loudest critics look like background noise in her victory parade. And let's be honest, Angel's meltdown wasn't just about one foul. It was about losing. Badly. Repeatedly. It was about watching the narrative shift from, we're gonna show her what's what, to, oh no, we just got dropped into a blender and someone hit the obliterate button. You can only ride the Cailtin's overrated train for so long before reality hits. And when it does, it hits like a full court press. And Cailtin, she didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The scoreboard did the talking. The stat sheet did the talking. And Angel Reese? Well, she tried to talk, but all anyone heard was the sound of 58 points echoing back.
She gets her third triple-double of her career, which is absolutely wild. She went back in, unlike Christy Sides. Steph White put her back in, and I get if she had gotten hurt, people would have been going crazy. But two reasons, really. Caitlin Clark wanted to make sure DeWanna Bonner got to third all time, wanted to make sure she got those two final points to move into third, and she was one rebound short from, yes, a triple-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Shot 6 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, perfect from the line, 4 of 4. Oh, by the way, 2 steals, and oh, by the way, 4 block shots, which lead the team because only of Boston.
It's funny how this rivalry started with hand gestures and chirping, and now it's ended, at least for this chapter, with one player ascending to generational status and the other auditioning for a role in the Real Housewives of Midcourt. Angel Reese came in with bravado and left with a bruised ego. Caitlin Clark came in with a game plan and left with another notch on her already absurdly stacked belt. Let's also point out how, for all the noise about Caitlin not being physical or gritty or built for the W, she's out here making veteran players look like they're moving in slow motion. She's taking hits, dishing it out, making tactical fouls, and still walking off the court with a smile, and a box score that looks like it was created in NBA 2K on rookie mode. Angel Reese tried to rattle her. Instead, she rattled herself, her teammates, and possibly even the very definition of composure. And we can't forget that priceless moment when the confrontation happened, and Caitlin just kept moving. No retaliation, no dramatics, just that look. The one that says, really, this is how you want to go out? Yes, it was.
Guys, this game, this is what a sellout looks like. 17,274 fans, and it was fully sold out. It was packed. This game was not close, folks. 93-58. And my God, by the way, Dave Portnoy won $350,000. He placed a $25,000 bet on a Caitlin Clark triple-double right before tip-off, and he won $350,000.
What's even more amusing is how Reese fans are now furiously rewriting the narrative on social media. Suddenly, it's about protecting black women or fighting for respect or whatever today's version of deflectomania looks like. But here's the truth. You can't play the villain and then get mad when people boo. You can't talk trash, mock, and antagonize, and then cry foul when the person you targeted shows up and outperforms you so thoroughly your own coach probably needed a juice box and a timeout. And now Caitlin Clark's triple-double is going to be immortalized, not just as a statistical achievement, but as the moment the so-called rivalry turned into a one-sided drubbing. Because rivalries require competition, and what we saw was anything but competitive. What we saw was Caitlin Clark eating Angel Reese's lunch, dinner, and emotional support snacks. And yet, there's something poetic about it. The girl they all said couldn't handle it, just outplayed, outsmarted, and outclassed. The one who's been screaming, "I am it," from the rooftops. And while Angel Reese is out here making headlines for her post-game theatrics and locker room sulking, Caitlin Clark is making history.
I'm no mathematician. 35 points, nasty work. Nasty. Back-to-back quarters with 13 points. Couldn't even get a quarter over 18 points. Oh, Chicago Sky, I had you overrated. Oh, how I overestimated what I would see from the Chicago Sky. The Indiana Fever took care of business today. We wanted to open out the season, start off the season, letting everybody know this is a new team, and we have one goal. Did we play our best game today? I would say we didn't. The fact that we didn't play our best game and we still destroyed the Chicago Sky, gotta feel good about that.
So, next time Angel Reese wants to confront someone, maybe she should start with the scoreboard, or better yet, her own stat line. Because while she's out there playing WWE with post-game interviews and sideline stares, Cailtin Clark is busy writing stat sheet poetry and casually stacking up triple doubles like it's a Tuesday morning shoot-around. Let's be real. Reese may talk a big game, but if you're going to dish out the drama, you better show up with something other than 4 fouls and a box score that reads like a disappearing act. Now, let's not pretend Reese didn't show up physically. She was present physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, not so much. She seemed more focused on flexing for the cameras than flexing her defensive skills, which were somewhere between non-existent and actively helping Cailtin Clark because Clark didn't just have a good game. She had a clinic. She walked in like a surgeon and dissected every defensive rotation Angel Reese and her team forgot to practice. The pick and roll? A horror film. Help defense? More like hide and seek. And they were losing.
She went 6 for 13, 4 for 8, shot brilliantly from the floor. Brilliantly. Started slow a little bit, but picked it up and looked phenomenal. 4 for 8 from the 4 for 4 from the free throw line.
While Reese was out there trying to play the enforcer role, Clark was busy carving up the defense with the grace of a concert pianist. Smooth, precise, relentless. Angel Reese didn't get confronted by Cailtin Clark. She got exposed. On both ends of the court. And the worst part? It's not even shocking anymore. Clark keeps showing up like the final boss in a video game, and every time Reese tries to play hero, she ends up rage quitting in the third quarter. It's almost poetic. Angel Reese, self-proclaimed queen of the clapback, got outplayed, outclassed, and outfought by the very player she's been trying to troll since the 2023 NCAA tournament. Cailtin Clark didn't need to say anything. She let her jumper do the talking, and oh boy, it gave a TED Talk. The stat sheet doesn't lie, triple-double. Meanwhile, Reese was left with a stat line that looked like a cold front, nothing but zeros and missed opportunities.
So I rewatched the entire game on like double speed, and this was the welcome to the WNBA moment for Tyler Marsh. This was the welcome to the WNBA moment for Tyler Marsh, and I've got to be honest, it's a tough one. It is a really, really tough one because Cailtin Clark and the Indiana Fever are in fact one of the tougher teams to game plan for.
And let's talk about composure. Clark played like a pro, cool under pressure, while Reese looked like she was auditioning for a soap opera, dramatic, confused, and a little too focused on side plots. The game is the main stage, and Cailtin Clark stole the spotlight. Again. But hey, maybe Angel Reese can take solace in knowing she gave Cailtin Clark one of her easiest triple-doubles to date. That counts for something, right? Actually, no. No, it doesn't. Because there's only one headline that matters. Cailtin Clark fights back and silences Angel Reese, and Reese couldn't handle it. Everything else? Just noise, empty gestures, hollow confrontations. Maybe next time, instead of bringing a grudge to the game, bring a strategy, or at the very least, bring a plan to defend a basic pick and roll. Because if you're going to play villain, you better win the damn game, otherwise you're just another subplot in Cailtin Clark's highlight reel.